So be
All
on your best
right.
behavior. That's what I like to say. Be on your best behavior. We are live and we are broadcasting literally around the world on Facebook. Hi, everybody. Mike Gonzalez from the Hispanic Food Network. Super happy to be alongside Lynne Wiedemann from the cookwithus.com kitchen to make this awesome tortilla soup. And Lynne, so glad to have you. I mean, we've had some real windstorms out here in the Pacific Northwest. So you're at the Greenbrier right now. You couldn't do it in your home studio and your kitchen. So first of all, I thank you for showing up and making this class happen. But how are things going in the Coeur d'Alene area right now?
Well, it has been a process, but the show must go on. So,
Yes.
so my dear friend Chris McElvenna said we could use her commercial kitchen. Normally, I would do this in our own kitchen, but we have not had power or the internet for 4 days now. So, anyway, we're here and we're happy to be here and looking forward to doing the show.
Yeah, I was talking with Jeffrey earlier, and it's 2021, so we're overcoming this year, and we're glad to have you. So we're making this awesome tortilla soup, and I've tasted your tortilla soup because we've made it in the past for Hispanic Food Network, and it is amazing. First of all, let's get into the ingredients, Lynn. Fresh ingredients
Yeah,
and
let's talk
how you
about
do it.
that. I'm just having a tad. Yeah, we're working in a commercial kitchen. There's a lot of interference with what are those called? Condensers and all this equipment. So hopefully I'm sounding okay and I can barely hear you. But I think I heard the word ingredient. So let's start with that, Mike. Today, the tortilla soup that we're doing, we're using these lovely, lovely Guajillo chilies. And I wanted to talk a little bit about chilies because, that's really the basis of Mexican cooking, soups, sauces, whatever you are, trying to make. So, like I said, these are Guajillo chilies. They are the most common chili that is used in Mexican cooking. And they have kind of a fruity flavor and they're not very spicy. I would call that a medium spice. So we're using the guajillos today. On our last cooking segment, when we made the chilies in nogada, we used the ancho chili, and that's another wonderful chili. And what I wanted to tell you and tell our viewers that if you can't get one chili or maybe you have another, you can mix them because the flavors of the different chilies take a while to where you can recognize the different flavors. It's almost like wine or coffee. The nuance of the different flavors is somewhat mild. So you can mix and match the different chilies. And then the other chili we're going to use is a pasilla chili. And we're just going to use these as a garnish. But this is called a pasilla or chili negro. And I bought all these at the Mexican market. I made a trip over to Spokane and we went to the Mexican market. Now, I know a lot of you around the country might not have access to Mexican markets where you can pick up chilies. So after we make the soup today, and we'll talk about how you can make this soup without the actual chili, maybe using a dried chili, which I have done. So we'll talk about that later, but let's right now get down to making this wonderful tortilla soup. So the first thing I wanted to show you is I am cooking on a comal. If you don't have a comal, you can use a cast iron skillet. So this comal, they sell these at the Mexican markets. This comal is a very thin metal, so things just toast and you can char them very easily because it really conducts the heat. So I've been doing this about 15 minutes before we went on the air, and I've got onion. As you can see, it's just beautiful browning. I've got the Roma tomatoes. In Mexican cooking, it is best to use Roma tomatoes. They have quite a bit of body. and they're usually a lot cheaper at the market. So that's always good. And I do have some garlic on there. So those are just about done. You want them lightly charred, nice and soft. Just like, ooh, that looks good. Just like that. So you just char that. So it's either the kamal, you could do it in this cast iron. You could even do these under the broiler if you wish. Whatever works for you. So let's
Lynne,
take those.
Lynne, I don't know how much you can hear me.
1 second, Mike. I want to get a hot pad. What was
Sure.
that?
I was going to ask you about the kamal. You know, a lot of people ask me questions about that. What does a kamal necessarily give it a different flavor, or is it just sort of the ease to use it? Because, you know, a kamal's open and, you know, it gives you access to the.
It doesn't really give a different flavor. I've done this in a cast iron, and like I said, I've done catering where I've had to do a lot of tomatoes and onions.
Right.
I was under the broiler, so it all works, and you can even roast them at a high temperature too.
Okay,
so
nice.
It doesn't really affect the flavor. It's just that it works so good and fast.
Right. Okay. So, and if anybody has any questions for Lynne, I'm going to be monitoring the chat feature here on our Zoom, and also our guests on Facebook. If you guys have any questions, you're welcome to ask any. And then
I'm going.
I'll hit you at Lynne.
So the next step, after you have your vegetables browned, the garlic, the onion, and the tomato, and I left the skin on the garlic. I'll pop those out of the skin, and we're going to put those in the blender.
She left the skin on, did that, and then popped the skin out of the garlic. She roasted them in the skin.
Hey, Glenda. So here they go. The tomatoes go right in, the onion. All that's going in there. I'm not even going to take, well, I guess I will. Nope. Go all in there. I didn't even take the skins off the garlic because we're going to strain this.
Ah.
Okay. There we go. Okay. The next step, this is the important part. We're going to work with those Guajillo chilies that we spoke about. We're going to use, I'd say, I think we should do about 6 of these. Like I said, they're not real spicy, but they'll give a deep heat. It doesn't come, it comes on slowly, not fast. So take your chili and have a pair of kitchen shears. Cut the top off. I hope you can see this. Cut the top off, then go lengthwise with your scissors. And you want to get rid of those seeds because that is where all the heat is. It's in the seeds and the membranes. So I'm just going to go like that. And when you look for dried chilies in the market, you want them to be soft and pliable. See, kind of leathery. If they are all crinkly and they just kind of fall apart, those are old. Don't buy those. So there's one. And this is real easy to do. You just want to have your kitchen shears with you. Are you seeing this?
Yep, we got you.
Okay, good. Now, what we're going to do is toast these also. But this is a very quick toast. You don't want to over toast them, else the chilies become bitter. You could have a few seeds, but you don't want too many. Your sauce will be too spicy. Some people might like that though. Okay, so we've got our chilies. Oh man, those are filled, filled, filled. And I had one more here I did previously. Okay, so we're going to go over to the Kamal and lightly toast these. So come on over to the Kamal. You'll have to watch these. Don't step away from this because, like I said, you want them to blister a little bit. This brings out their flavor. But that's it. So they're on there. I'm going to turn the heat up just a tad. Yep, there's our heat. Oh, and I brought my Mexican pot, my cazuela, to cook our soup in today. Now that adds some really lovely flavor to the soup. So, of course, you can put it in any kind of stock pot, but I'm so happy to use that today. There's my other chili. I knew I had done one. So that one got very nice and clean. We've got all our chili. When you're toasting these, you can smell them. They give off a really nice aroma. It doesn't take long. See, it's already blistered. Can you see that?
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, and it smells real good. But like I said, don't overdo it because they'll. All right, almost done. And while those are blending, cooking. Yeah, see, they turn a little black and they blister. Just keep doing it till they look, smell really good. Okay, I think they're done.
Oh, yeah, that looks.
Yep, they look beautiful. So we're going to take all these and put these in the blender also. I'll take them all at once. There we go. So everything goes into the blender. Well, actually, I'm going to, they're pretty pliable. Sometimes if your chilies are not real pliable, you have to put them in hot water. I think we should do that. Let me get a little hot water and we'll put them in there. Just a little bit of hot water. I'm going to let those submerge. It's called rehydrating the chili. Don't
Lynne,
do it too long because you want to keep that nice flavor.
What do you look for in a good chili? Because I know, you can buy some prepackaged chilies depending where you shop, and there's a few markets there in the Northwest where you live, and De Leon's, where you could actually choose your chili.
Yeah, I got these at De Leon's.
Yeah. So what do you look for in a good chili before you cook it and take out the seeds?
The main thing I look for is just that they're pliable. And they're fresh. You can tell that they're fresh when, like this beautiful ancho chili is really lovely. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. And sometimes, let me show you this. Sometimes they're in a bag. So it's almost like you can't really feel them.
Yeah, you can't really choose, but
let me show you how these came. These came in this bag. I couldn't really, but I was just kind of feeling them through the bag and they weren't all crumbly.
Right,
so I thought these
not crumbly. Yeah, that's a good one.
Crumbly, forget it. So these are rehydrating real nicely. Let's get the cazuela going and then we'll blend everything. So here's the cazuela going right on the flame. We're going to put a little bit, I don't know, maybe a quarter of a cup of vegetable oil in the bottom. Let that heat up. These cazuelas are amazing to cook in. When we had our cooking school, we used to cook sometimes outside on the beach in a fire. You can put them right on a direct campfire stove. Okay. So the chilies have been rehydrating in this water. And now we're going to put these right in the blender with the tomato, the onion, and the garlic. There we go. Save your water. You may need just a tad of it to help the blending process. So we're going to do that. I think that's enough, but if you see if you need more. Check my flame, it looks good. Okay, we're going to blend this up. I think I'm going to turn this on. Let's do a little stronger. There we go. You really want to get it well blended. All right. Looks good.
And it doesn't take a whole lot of blending time there either, so it's pretty quick.
What's that, Mike?
I was going to say, you don't want to over blend it, do you? Because will it get really watery if you wind up?
You can blend it a lot. You can really blend that up. But this next step I'm going to show you is what's really important. You have your hot pot, be it a cazuela or your favorite stock pot. Have the oil in it, nice and hot. And you want to strain this because you're going to have maybe the miscellaneous seeds. You've got the skins you've got, all the skins and from the tomato. So you want to blend it real well. Check. Yeah, that should go good. We'll give it a shot. And you just use a wooden spoon to get everything going through your colander. If you skip this step, your product is grainy. See all that's left? Right. You don't want that in there. Okay, we just finished straining. Got everything into the pot. I don't know if can you see what's in the pot? Yeah, this is looking so beautiful. It's really smooth. No odd pieces. All the odd pieces are left in the colander. So this you can get rid of. This can just go in the trash. And that's that.
Yeah, that's really good.
I'm going to let that cook. You want to let that cook and brown a little bit. It really, it doesn't take too long, maybe about 10 minutes. Let that just cook. I am going to add a little salt to it now. Just a little kosher salt. It's cooking nicely. Okay, so while that's cooking, that's called a cazuela, Mexican cazuela. While that's cooking, I think the next step, what we should do, let me get rid of my soaking water. The next thing we could do while that's cooking is get our tortillas ready for our tortilla strips. Tortilla soup is traditionally served with the fried tortilla strips. Crema we'll put on top of that, avocado and cilantro. And it's just fun to make your soup and then have all the bowls set out and kind of everybody can make it the way they like. So We've got fresh tortillas that I bought the other day, but I purposely let some of them just kind of air dry so they wouldn't be as fresh. So these are the tortillas that I let sit out, get a not stale, maybe a little stale, I would say. So I take my trusty shears. I cut the tortillas in half. I hope you can all see that.
Yes, looks great.
And then I just, yeah, can you see that, Mike? And then
Yep, looks good.
I just make the little strips with them. And they don't take long to fry, but always make a ton of these because people keep eating them before the soup's ready.
Right. That would be
They're
me.
so good.
Sure.
They're so good.
All right, silly question here, Lynn, but one people often ask is, are there special cutting shears for cooking, or can I use my sewing shears to cut
You could use
tortillas?
your sewing, sure. You know, just so they're clean and everything.
Right.
I always keep a pair in my kitchen and I just use them for food, but
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I seem to use them quite a bit, actually, my shears.
I know. I need
So
to
there
get
we go. Let me get a frying pan going here. Oh boy, a cazuela, it's cooking beautifully. It looks so good. Okay, let's get this one going. I like to use vegetable oil when I'm frying tortillas, that type of thing. I really put about, I'd say, half an inch of oil in the pan. I'm going to turn that down just a tad. It's darkening up a little bit. The base of our soup really looks good. Okay, so we'll get those going. I'm going to move our little chili tray so we can see a little better. Get that going. I'll do a few more while we're waiting. That should heat up real fast. So you want to have a basket ready that you can put your chips in when they're done. Let's see how it's doing. I always try and test it first. Not quite. You want it to sizzle right away. So let's wait just a minute on that. Oh, there they go. If your oil's not hot enough, you'll end up with soggy chips. So make sure that oil's good and hot. Yep. Here they go. We'll just kind of scatter them all around. Oops, get in there. Almost. Okay. You don't want to overcrowd your pan when you're frying your tortilla strips, just so it's one layer. If you have, if you want to make a lot, just do a couple batches. And we'll stir our soup at the same time. It's looking good. Real good. I'm a two-handed cook. Okay, they're going good.
A real skill.
Yeah. Okay. I think that, well, I should tell you, last night I made chicken stock because I wanted this soup. You can make this soup vegetarian, but we're going to put, because I wanted the stock, I have chicken. So we'll make this a chicken tortilla soup. And I'm going to add my stock now to the chili broth. And you want about 4 cups, 4 to 6 cups. So that's going to go right in. Yes, that looks good. I didn't put the whole thing in. I think it's about 4 cups. This, I think, holds 6. I'm going to let that go. One of the tricks to making a really good tortilla soup that you want to thicken up a little bit is to throw in a couple tortillas. They break down and they actually thicken the soup and give it that wonderful corn flavor. I'm just going to cut them in half. Of course, you take them out before you serve the soup. But I'm just going to drop those right in there. Oh, my chips are burning. Gotta watch these commercial stoves. I think we're good. You really, that shows you can't take your eye off the ball,
Right.
when you're cooking.
Can you add any spices to those chips, Lynn? And you know, some people like to get creative with their tortillas when they fry them. Do you like to add anything, or is it just really about the oil that you add?
I just salt them. I just salt them with a nice kosher salt.
Nice.
That's the best. And you know, you could put cheese on them,
Right.
little cheese, but okay. I'd say they're ready. Okay, I think they're ready. So I'm going to put them in here. Try and, you know, get some of that oil off if you can. There we go. While they're still hot, I just shake them up a bit. And just throw on that salt. Okay, we've got our lovely chips. So that will be one of the condiments that you put on the soup. So we've got that going. Let's put our salt up there. We've got our going. Okay, I think we're doing good.
And that is the hardest part, is not to eat those chips before they get into the soup.
The hardest part is not eating the chips.
I
I know. Really, honestly, I did this for my sister's family and we just kept eating those chips. So like I said, make sure you make a lot of them. So the soup is cooking. Looks real good. Turn that up just a tad. You want your soup, of course, when I make any kind of soup, I like to make it and serve it the following day. The flavors just meld and they're, you know, soup the next day is wonderful. But if you're making it the day that you want to consume it, just let that broth cook for at least 40 minutes, I would say, to get all the flavors and to get those tortillas kind of to break down. So, all right, let's get some of our condiments ready. And if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go into the walk-in and get my chicken and add that real quick too. Okay. Hi, Mike. The bone from the broth that we made yesterday, or last night I made that. So if you can see that, I'm just going to throw that right in here. Not sure I'll put it all in. Oh boy, that looks good. Yeah, one little bit more. Yeah. So as far as the chicken, I would say put in, you know, as much as you like. I didn't use all that chicken. It just seemed a little much, so we'll set that aside. I can point out to you the Mexican crema. This is something that you want to drizzle onto the soup. So you'll buy it in a bottle like this. And it seems like you can find this now in most of the regular grocery stores. So this is real good. If you want to do a substitute, I would say whip up a little whipping cream and then add sour cream to that. Don't whip it real hard, just kind of softly, soft peaks, then add your sour cream. And that's somewhat the flavor of the Mexican crema.
And crema's a little bit different. And Lynn, crema's a little bit different than what people expect, right? It's a lot of people think it's sour cream, but it's not. It's not sour cream. It's got a little bit smoother texture.
I wish I could hear you, Mike. It's so noisy in here.
Oh, I was just gonna say that crema. I don't know if you can hear me now. The texture of it's a little bit different than people suspect. A lot of times people think it's sour cream, but it's
yeah.
It's a little bit smoother than that, and it tastes really good.
Yes, it is. It is a little different. And if you want it, you could just use sour cream, straight sour cream too. That would work. So we've got our chips. We've got our crema. Oh, here's something. Yesterday, when I was at De Leon's, they had epazote there, which shocked me because I usually only find this in Mexico. So because we have the epazote, I'm going to soup too. It's wonderful. It's an herb that grows all over Mexico, almost like a weed, but they use it medicinally and they also use it in cooking. It's wonderful in beans. The medicinal properties that it stops flatulence in the beans. So that's why they put it in beans, but it also imparts this really wonderful pungent flavor. If you smell it really does smell
great.
medicinal. So I'm going to put a little. The next thing we want to cut up for our soup is an avocado. Oh, these are nice big avocado. It is avocado season, so I hope our viewers are out there using avocados all the time right now. Take a spoon. Got all our nice little chunks of avocado. I just go this way and that way, make little, without kind of cutting through the skin, and then go around the outside, and I have all little nice pieces then.
Yeah, I love that trick.
ready to go. Okay, let's put that away. There we go. And we'll put those in. So we've got our avocado ready to go. And last but not least, is lemon. You want to do your fresh lemons or limes, excuse me. And those have been washed. I always wash the outside of those. And just make some nice squeezable sections. And we'll put those in a bowl. Very, very good. All right, let's go back and check our soup and see how it's doing. Ooh, it's bubbling away. Ooh, it looks good. Looks really good. It has gotten thick from the tortilla that I threw in there. And it's pretty much just all broken down. Delicious. Oh, it's real good. It's just got the right amount of heat. So that was 5 of the Guajillo Chilis, which worked really good with about 6 tomatoes. Okay. Okay, I'm going to bring that soup over to here. Which is the best way to see this? Right here. Can you see that? I'm just going to put it right there on the board. Oh, it looks so good. I'll get my... Wow, it's just bubbling in there. And you see how it's thickened up? It really has. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that looks great.
It's so good. Okay, I'm going to fix a bowl for you so you can see how you do it. Let me get my pretty bowl. Okay. This is actually a really good party dish because you can put your pot out on the table and put all the condiments around and let people help themselves. So the epazote is in there, as you can see, adding that wonderful flavor. Normally I would take that out before I put it on the thing, but I'll just go around it a little bit. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. It's just thickened up beautifully. Watch it pour in so you can see. It's really nice. Okay, so let's put in a little bit of the all these spoons. Let's put in a little of the queso first. That looks so good. That'll melt real nicely.
And Lynn,
you kind of want to submerge. You want to submerge them just a tad.
Go ahead, Mike.
Lynn, we do have a question from Barbara. Can you repeat what kind of cheese that was? She missed it because of the technical difficulties we had. So the type of cheese that we used.
Yeah. Oh, that's queso fresco. And all the markets, most of the regular markets carry it. in the cheese section. So queso fresco, it's a fresh cheese, it's a melting cheese, and it crumbles really nicely. So that's that. But you know, if you had a Monterey Jack cheese, that would work. You know, it doesn't have to be a Mexican cheese. But if you're making the soup, if you can get that, I would definitely try it. Okay, the next thing we're going to add is our, few chunks. Ooh, let's get that one. Of avocado. You put in as much as you want. A little squeeze of lime. And take your spoon and just dribble a little of the crema around it. Just a little bit. And there you have it. That is fantastic tortilla soup.
Oh, that looks really good.
Beautiful, huh?
Oh,
Doesn't that look good? It really is good.
That is really pretty. And you said that, Lynn, you like to actually save it for the next day. I don't know how that's possible, but
Mike, I have a question.
I know.
All right, we have one question coming.
Lynn, how many people does that serve? Could you hear me?
Lynn,
I would say this would serve 6 to 8 people.
With the amount of things you put in?
I would say it would serve 6 to 8 people.
Okay.
And, you know, you could, if you wanted to stretch it, you can add more chicken broth. You know, you kind of have to see that your particular taste. But the first thing is, of course, is to make your chili, use your chilies and cook those. And then when you add your chicken broth, you can pretty much, I used about 4 cups. It could go up to 6 on your, you know, how you want to flavor it.
And Lynn, what I'm going to do.
Does that answer your question?
It does, yes, thank you.
And Lynn, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to share the screen from your website,
good.
just so people can learn where to find you guys. So it's cookwithus.com. And if you go to Lynn's website, you'll find this recipe. Go up to the upper right-hand corner.
Yes, this recipe is on my website.
So I'm showing folks that right now. So we're sharing the screen, and up in the upper right-hand corner, you could search for different type of recipes. So you can see it here, sopa de tortillas. That's tortilla soup in Spanish. And she's got all the ingredients there and how much it's going to make. And it'll take you step by step as well. So that's cookwithus.com, cookwithus.com. And there's links to all sorts of great recipes that you can find to Lynn's website. Yep, Lynn, I got you.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that on that recipe on my website, I've written that was one we used in our cooking school, but I don't have that to add the tortilla into the broth. Okay. I want to add that to that recipe because that's something I've started doing, and it just really pumps up the flavor and also helps to thicken it.
Yeah, so I like
it's
that.
It's looking beautiful in this pot.
Hey, Mike.
All right. Yes.
But there is some.
Is it better to char or roast the tomatoes? That's a question I've been waiting to ask.
I char everything. I char. But when you roast something really hot, I char it. And you can do that like I did on a comal or the cast iron, but you can also put them under your broiler and that will char them. So, and I've done that many a time when I've had to do a large batch for catering or something. So either or will work, but you want to get those skins lightly blackened. Okay. Does that answer your question, Miss Susie?
Yes, it did.
You're welcome. Okay.
Awesome.
Now,
Any more
I did want to mention what I'd like to. Okay. No more.
we don't have any more
I
questions.
did
Go
want to
ahead.
bring up because. Okay, I just want to bring up because this might be someone's question. The last time I went back east to visit my sister, we went in the market and I couldn't find chilies anywhere, but I wanted to make this soup because I knew the family would love it. And what I had to improvise, and it turned out really good. So what you could do is buy dried chili like this. This is my little thing of dried chili. Not the kind that you get in the little bottles that says chili powder, not that kind, but a pure chili powder. And oftentimes you can find that in the market. And this particular market, it was a big bag of chili, but it came from the Middle East. I had no idea what kind it was, but it was chili, red chili. So what I did is I cooked onion and garlic in a pan with oil, and I added the chili paste, the chili powder, a couple of tablespoons, and made a paste. And let that cook. You always want to let your chili powder cook a bit. And I just let that paste cook, and then went and added my chicken broth. And it was really quite good. So, you know, if you can't find the dried chilies, try it with just the dried chili. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally.
Oh, I have to try the soup. So hold on. It's really good. It's not too hot, but it's got a nice little kick to it. But delicious.
Well, if it tastes as good as it looks, I'm sure that's incredible.
It's so good. We'll give Dave the cameraman. He'll be eating it soon.
That sounds good. So,
Can you overnight me some?
Lynn, before I go, you know, for our audience, we're going to have this on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. It'll live there forever. In case somebody watches this, you know, if people want to reach out to you with questions, what's the best way to get a hold of you at Cook With Us? And, you know, because I know you do some.
My email.
Go ahead.
You could email me at info at cookwithus.com. I answer all questions, and I'd be happy to help you with anything. Or
Great.
on Facebook. You could
Okay.
message me on Facebook.
And it's Lynne Wiedemann is the finder.
But I really want to thank everybody for tuning in. That was so nice. And I know we had a few technical difficulties, but we've had a week of difficulties here.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad we could still do the show.
And what I'll do is I'll go back and I'll put this video in my computer system, and I'll chop out those parts that we had some technical difficulties to smooth it out a little bit, and it'll live on our YouTube page and HispanicFoodNetwork.com. Lynn, I want to thank you. I want to thank Frank, and I also want to thank Dave Chamberlain, who's our technical guy. You guys have been navigating a lot of stuff, and honestly, I so appreciate the fact that you put on this class. I mean, in such adverse conditions that are going on in the Northwest, but I know we both have a passion for Mexican food, and we love it. So I really thank you so much for being a part of this, and everybody that was a part of the crowd.
You're welcome.
We had a good crowd today, a vocal crowd that was into it. So Barbara, Jeff, let me make sure I don't miss anybody. Who we had on the call, Jill. So thanks, and then our audience out in Facebook land. So we appreciate everybody. So on that note, hopefully everybody will tune in. Yeah, next time when there's not windstorms in the Pacific Northwest, it'll go a little bit smoother. But I think it still went great. Some great tips, and it's always a pleasure to be with you. So we'll see everybody next time. Thanks for logging into the Hispanic Food Network, guys.
Adios.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Lynn.